Welcome to another episode of the Potential Success Show. My name is Fong. I'm an entrepreneur, business strategist, real estate investor, speaker, and also best-selling author. And every single day, I help others unlock the potentials and guide them to succeed. Today on the show, we have a very, very exciting guest. I've got the pleasure of seeing this person on stage many, many times. And every time he's on stage, he's talking about these driving experiences, how much fun they are, how wow experiences they are. And I'm like, wow, that sounds awesome. And I'm very, very excited to hear more. And hence, I'm very excited to have him here today. He's worked with many companies worldwide, increasing their sales, helping with their events, helping them with their experiences. He's very focused in the automotive, the interactive, the digitizations, and the event space. And he does such amazing work. And every time, like for instance, if you look at his background right now, can't you all you can think about is, wow, I wish I was there. It's absolutely amazing. He's worked with some amazing companies such as Mercedes and Bosch. So please welcome CEO of Tab Different, Think, Act, Be, Entrepreneur Experiential Adventurist, Mr. Sven Sperling.
Thank you so much for your introduction. That was, really a very short summarize of all the things we do. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. First of all, I want to really know, some of the stuff you talk about is always exciting. The driving, the experiences, and some of the sceneries that you've shown when you're on stage is absolutely phenomenal. So tell us, how did you get to that person who's been able to take all that and make it profitable and become your passion and your job?
Wow, there were a lot of steps to get there. So first of all, it wasn't my plan, and how it developed is it started out of my personal passion because my original background is IT. So which has nothing to do with these driving experiences. But yeah, I was asked to help out some friends. And so from there it developed. And obviously we liked what we did. So the results were telling its own story. So we were approached from different companies. And as you mentioned earlier, I worked a lot of years for Bosch company, and now Mercedes is one of our big clients. We work for Ineos and other brands and workshops in the automotive industry. And our focus is really the off-road driving experiences, which developed out of the need of our clients. So we had some, for example, right now we do sales training for Mercedes sales guys from all over the world, where they get gathered to Mallorca at this point of time, and then we train 12,000 people about the new product and features and the capabilities. And then we have experiences with the manufacturer clients, and they have an experience. So we run the G-Class Experience Center in Austria as well. And you get to talk to people, and then they ask you for, could you do this or that? And then I'm the type of person who is just going and say yes if someone is asking for something. And then later on, we figure it out how we make it happen. And to be honest, it's not all what I did. It's all about the team. My team is so supportive, and we work very close with each other, and I can rely on them. So it's all about building a team. And therefore, it's very important to create a culture of your company. So 3 years ago, we have been a team of two person, and now we are a team of 15 who are permanently employed. And then we work with a pool of 52 freelancers. So depending on the needs. And it's very, very important to maintain the personal contact, the relationship, because you never know when you need those people, and you can't promise them anything. So you have to keep the connection, and give them a call once in a while and check how are things going. Mm-hmm. And then if you treat them right, they will deliver. That's very important.
Now, what I find fascinating is at the very beginning, you talked about you were in the IT space, which is completely different than what you're doing right now. So what was that tweak? What made you go, you know what, I need to completely change my path and go directly into this and go like full on driving experiences, training, and all that great stuff that you're doing now?
Yeah, an interesting question. I didn't leave the IT space. We still do this. We have another team who is developing mainly web-based data programming. And yeah, it's very, very specific. Therefore, we are not on the surface that big in regards of IT stuff. So I developed out of, as I mentioned earlier, out of a passion, my own passion, driving off-road. I developed the business. And on the way, yeah, it went very well. And then I have to mention this, COVID hit almost everyone on this globe. And since we were in the event industry, we had to tweak. And this was, yeah, well, very challenging. And that was the point where we refocused on the IT stuff. But nevertheless, thanks to my coach, JT, you probably know, and he helped me to go through 2020 with a new record year, even in the event space.
Very, very amazing.
So we somehow I managed to combine both topics.
Well, that's good. If you're able to combine what you're really, really good at, plus what you are very passionate about, it makes life fun. And like I said, looking at the background that you have right now, it looks fun. I mean, we were just chatting before, talking about driving tests. I'm like, in my mind, driving test is like, okay, parallel park here. Can you do a left turn there? But your stuff looks amazing. Lots of there's water, there's different terrains, and it looks a lot of fun. You're a person who focuses a lot on the experiences. Why is experiences so important to people?
Because an experience is unique. Every person experiences something in their own personal way. And together with the, I call it service provider, as we are as an event agency, our guys and girls who are with the client, they build together or they experience together the experience. And this is something very, very unique. And in nowadays, you can shop online almost everything. So you can get everything you want. And if you have money, you can buy everything you want. But the moment you get spoiled, let's say like this, then you are looking for something unique. And this is where we come in with our, unique once in a lifetime experiences.
Is there one of your most favorite experiences that you were offering before or offering now that people will be like, wow, that's something I've never heard about?
This is something we are, I can't claim we are unique, but or the only one. There are others who are doing it a little different, but one of our main characteristic thing is that we go on one side, high-end luxury, the best you can get. And on the other side, on the same trip, we go, I call it back to nature or back to the roots. And to be specific, if you look in the background, we have been to Morocco earlier this year. And there we slept in nice resorts. And we slept in the middle of nowhere in the sand dunes in a tent. And this combination, because if you book a luxury tour, everything is luxury. If you book an adventure tour, everything is adventure and not really luxury. Right. And we combine those things, and this makes it very unique.
Very, very fascinating. Now, for somebody who comes up with experiential ideas, you have to be very, very creative. And for somebody in the IT background, creativity usually isn't our strong suit. Like I'm an engineer by trade, and therefore left brain people usually don't have that creativity trait as most people think. So for you, how did you build up on that ability to be creative and come up with these very right brain, very wow experiences that you offer?
I think that goes back to when I was a child. I was always very curious, and I just tried things out and see how it goes, and I still do. And just keep it open what happens. Just try something, and then you can judge afterwards whether you like it or not.
Mhm.
And therefore, I challenge my team over and over to come up with new ideas, and we do crazy things. And for example, I have in mind, and I can mention it. We do plant tours right now at Mercedes truck factory or plant. It's one of the biggest truck plant in the world, and we do guided tours. And I came up with the idea to get more people through, because there's a huge demand, but a certain time frame during the day where we can do it. And so I came up just with the craziness. Wouldn't it be great if we could install a roller coaster? So where it's more entertaining to get from the entrance to the real factory, which usually you hop in a bus and then you drive there. It's 7 minutes drive, and you lose 7 minutes one way and 7 minutes back. So it's a quarter an hour.
Yeah.
And if you would go in a roller coaster, maybe you are there in 2 or 3 minutes. So it's just a crazy idea. But we talk more and more about this. I just throw it in after a while, once again and again. And to be honest, I wouldn't wonder if one day we will make it. This is really, really crazy, I know. But there are other ideas. Yeah, why can't we do this or that? I'm just throwing in ideas, and then people find it funny and they laugh about. And then if you talk over and over again on the same idea, some we have realized already.
That sounds amazing. I can imagine that partway through that tour, that roller coaster ride, you go into this void where it's a complete virtual screen, and as you go, it feels like you're driving. So that sounds amazing.
And I came up with this idea because we have been at Disneyland in LA earlier this year, or last year actually. And yeah, I thought, well, there are so many people enjoying this, going there, lining up, waiting 1.5 hours to get a ride for 4 minutes. So I was just thinking how to expand the capacity or the ways, and to attract more people, to make it, at the end, a better business case and a better client experience.
Yeah, I love that, because I was just thinking about Disney too. And you ask those questions. How do you take something that's successful in one industry and apply it to somewhere else and make that a unique experience? Now, you're also, like you said before, you do the digitalization. You help people with hosting, with websites. It's not that big in your like forefront, but that's something you still do. How do you bring the experiential aspect of a one-on-one thing where people live in it into a digital space?
This is really, let's say in the past it was a big challenge, but it gets more and more realistic since we are entering a 3D, 4D world, virtual world. And so actually we had already the first discussions. How can we combine a physical plant tour, for example, and having people all over the world watching it? So the idea here is maybe just, go there as a tour guide, having cameras at all different spots, and then you and hundreds of others can watch and can ask questions, and you do the tour live. And then you point out, look at this specific car, they're doing this and this color and so forth. And then it's a combination of digitalization and reality, because at the end of the day, I'm convinced AI will advance technology and development, but will never ever replace the personal human interaction. It's different if we would be on the call or if we are seeing us on the screen. And the third dimension would be if we would sit really at the same table, and no technology will replace the personal human interaction, I'm sure.
No, when people come up to you and go, hey, we need some help with an event, we want you to come in and give us an assessment. When you go into an event or when you go in and talk with their team, what are some of the first few things that you would ask so that you could go, okay, this is where we start, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to change? Are there some like very quick tips that people can think about right off the bat when it comes to events?
Yeah, first of all, how long, how many people, and what is the budget? Those three questions. Because this is, people have great ideas and they haven't thought if we would do that with, let's say, 100 people, it's a whole different story if you do it with 20 people. And if you do that, if you squeeze, let's say, the 100 people in the same time frame of 4 hours, it's hard to create a great experience. So then you have to prioritize. Is the highest priority to get the 100 people, or is the highest priority to have a great experience? If that the last one is the case, to have a great experience, you have to either reduce the amount of people or to extend the length. And yeah, on these two parameters, it depends how the costs are changing.
So
and
when it comes to experiences, is it a lot of trial and error, guess and test, or do you do a lot of surveys or like group projects and stuff like that to ask what their experience level is, so that you know, okay, these will work, this will not work?
This is something we could really work on way better, to ask questions and get more specific. We are spoiled, to be honest, that the clients are coming towards us, so we are not that hard urge to find new clients. But the moment this will turn, which might be in the future, we have to really measure, because as you know, what gets measured can be done. If you don't know what is missing, you have no clue what to do.
Right. For you talk about experiences a lot, and you offer a lot of experiences. For you, what is one of the most amazing experiences that you've personally had that may or may not be what you are doing right now?
Actually, to me personally, the biggest experience was just 2 weeks ago at McLaren. So I went there with JT and another guy from Netherlands, Ronald. He is really into data. He's gathering data and processing data like crazy. And there, it was a great experience to see how this company is really changing, tweaking based on numbers. So they measure a lot at Formula One, and on the same time, they produce normal street cars, which I didn't know that they have such a big number. And the perfectionism, how the plant is set up, all the technique is set up, that was really outstanding. And on the same time, getting to know people who are working there, that they're so human and they interact with each other. They really, you can feel this is a team. And as you know, I'm working with other corporations, and sometimes the bigger the corporation is, the harder is about greed and saving their butt, let's say, and all those things. And this has an effect to the productivity, I'm sure.
You just mentioned about working with like big companies and introducing new ideas. That's something that a lot of people have challenges with, because if they're being approached to help a company increase their sales or increase their morale and whatnot, and they come up with all these ideas, and then no, we don't want to do that. Oh, that's not going to work, or we don't do that here. How do you overcome those types of negative feedback so that you are able to implement some of these new ideas to these companies?
You first have to start at the top level. If the top level is not convinced, you have no chance to convince the lower levels. So you have to get into your boat, the top level team, and then you have to show them the benefits of change. Mm-hmm. And this is human. Everyone is not really scared, but is not really happy if bigger changes are happening, because it's uncertain. You don't know, and you're afraid of things you don't know. And therefore, you have to convince them what is your benefit and show them on the same time what are the risks and the disadvantages. Because there is nothing out there where you only have benefits. Right. There are always two sides of the medal. And this is honest if you mention both sides, and then people start trusting you. Because if you sell it like the shiny penny, you know, everything is purple and nice, that doesn't work, and it's unrealistic, and people know that.
Mm-hmm. When it comes to change, how often do you experience somebody who goes, they're so hard-headed, they will not change, and then in the end, you're basically going, well, we're going this way, whether you like it or not. So you could either leave or join the team. Does that ever happen?
Yes.
More often than not, or usually after you go through the process, people kind of jump on board?
Yeah, it depends if you're asking working with clients or working with employees.
Let's say both.
Okay, with clients, there are situations we can change. We just tell the boss, look, you either have to replace that person or find a new job for the person or get rid of the person. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's the saying, if you have one rotten apple in the box, eventually all apples get rotten, you know? Right. It is what it is. And it's hard. And to me, I had a really hard time to realize that you can't be nice always. It doesn't help. Uh-huh. And with our team, we only had one situation where we, had to say goodbye to one person so far. And this is something else. On one hand, you have your own experience and feeling. Trust more your gut feeling. This is my recommendation, because our mind is sometimes overruling with logic, but sometimes things are off.
Right.
And if there's more than one thing off, this is, to me, in the meanwhile, a red flag. And then the sooner you act, the better you are. But of course, it's hard. It's not easy. But sometimes you have to do what you have to do.
When you personally are challenged with something that's difficult to deal with, what goes through in your head? Whether it's driving somewhere that's very, very challenging, or having to fire somebody, or dealing with a very, very problematic client. What goes in your head? How do you assess that situation so that you have a good path forward?
The biggest challenge is really to get the emotion out of this topic or the situation, and really look clearly what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages, and which side has more points, and then go with that. Uh-huh. Nice. If you get emotional, if you feel pity for someone and give another chance and so forth, you do that in the beginning, yes, and I did also. But at the end of the day, the longer you have experience, the more you realize, and this is a saying in our company, whether it works or not. Right. And both is fine.
At the very beginning, you talked about how important your team is, how important it is for the people to work together and grow the company. I would imagine that your screening process would be pretty stringent. You need to find the right people. How do you find the right people for your team?
This is also a very interesting question, because if I'm not looking for a specific manager or project leader, I'm not doing the interviews. I have my team who will work with this specific person, have the interviews. So we employed just recently a couple of people I've never seen before. Because I don't have to work with them. My team has to work with them. My team has to manage them. My team has to get along with them. So if something goes wrong, and if I would have made the decision, they will blame me and I'm the bad excuse,
Right.
But if they made their own decision, they have to deal with the situation later on.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, you have to trust your top people. That's a foundation which is necessary.
And how do you find those people that you can trust? Do you go through a lot of, like, is it years and years of working together, or are there some things that you kind of test them with, questions that you ask them?
In the old days, I paid attention to the paper, the application they hand in, and the results from a university and all this stuff. But nowadays, I don't even look at this. I need to talk to that person. I need to work with that person. And then you figure it very quickly.
I liked how you went, and that stuff, that resume.
Yeah, because it really doesn't help. And even in Germany, it's that bad that you are not allowed by law to write. In the US, you have ACE. What is your rating system?
A, B, C, and D's.
A, B, C. So A is the best or the worst?
It's the best.
Okay. So, and it goes to D, or how far?
It goes to F, but I'm pretty sure not many teachers are willing to give out Fs.
Okay. Let's assume, to be honest, that person would get an E. Mm-hmm. We are not allowed to write that.
Oh, wow.
So we have, the worst you can write is, more or less a C. So if that person is applying for a job at my company with a C, it's not an A player, of course, but it's pretty good looking at the paper. But in reality, it's an F.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even talk to that person. Mm-hmm. And I just had that realization recently. It's just a paper stating something which in some cases, not in all cases, but in some cases has nothing to do with reality. Mm-hmm. And therefore, I always call it, let's have the reality check, and come work a day with us or a week or whatever. And then you figure pretty quick in the meanwhile whether that could work or not. Mm-hmm. And clearly state right in the beginning your expectation, that there's no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm. A few questions ago, you mentioned that due to COVID, you guys had to pivot. You guys had to tweak a little bit in order to work well, because you're very, very immersed in the event space. What were some of those tweaks that you've done to keep it going and be successful at
it? One specific thing is our calculation was 2 person per car, in total 24 people, because we had 3 groups. So due to COVID, you are not allowed to sit in the same car with someone else. So we just divide, or we reduce the available spots to half. Mm-hmm. So everyone was sitting by its own in the car. And we sold it, and this is reality, by the way, it's not just the packaging, as a more exclusive experience.
Right.
And here comes the interesting thing. We haven't changed back, and we will not, because people like the exclusivity. Mm-hmm.
Well,
and the price tag is still the same.
that's that's the power of being exclusive, because not many people would jump into that space until one you had to, and then you realize, hey, wait, this is working. What other kind of tweaks have you tried that worked well in your digital space?
Yes, since more and more people are working from home, you have to digitalize, and therefore we have worked on, let's say, our own CRM system, so that it doesn't matter where you are in the world, whether you are at home or with a client or in the office or on vacation, you have all you need on your device.
Right.
Because it's in the cloud, it's cloud-based. So local servers, from my point of view, will not many years exist anymore.
No, you've been very, very successful in everything that you've touched so far. What is like the best advice that you've gotten from somebody that made you went, oh, I never thought about that?
Oh, it's really the JT saying double down, which he got from Mike Slade. And this is really what it is, what we learned through COVID. And you can apply it. I'm expecting an kind of economic crisis right now around the corner. So although all the COVID restrictions are gone, the next bad thing is around the corner waiting for a lot of people. But I'm saying in each crisis are chances. So you have to think, JT again says 8 steps ahead. And this is really what counts. So be flexible, create the habit of the situational awareness, that you are aware what's going on left and right, what might be around the corner, and be prepared. Because if you are trusting the good times that they will continue, they never do.
Right.
This is on the other side. The good thing, if there's a crisis, they will never last. They will pass as well. So I have the saying, nothing is that constant than change.
That's true. That's very, very true. Because if change doesn't happen, everything's stagnant and there's no growth. So it's the most consistent thing that happens, because nothing ever happens if it doesn't. Now, when it comes to the next big thing for you, what is that next big thing? Aside from the roller coaster tour, what's the next big thing?
The next big thing is really restructuring the companies in order to do more international business. Because, for example, we have an issue with getting coverage in the US, for example, for those kind of events. So it's easier to have a corporation or a company over there. And to sum it up, it's to strategize in which form we will move on. And this comes again, there will be changes, and we have to be prepared.
Right. Cool. For you, let's say we put you on that world stage again with you, which you've been on many, many times, and you have one message for everybody to remember Sven for. What's that legacy message? What's that important message you want everybody to remember you for?
Be creative and just do things, and you will create results automatically.
Nicely said. Great words to live by. Before I let you go, I got 5 quick questions for you. Give me the first thing that comes to mind. Stranded on the deserted island, one food to eat for the rest of your life, no consequence.
Can you repeat that, please?
One food to eat for the rest of your life, no consequence.
It depends on the food.
Doesn't matter. Anything that you dream of eating that you could eat for the rest of your life.
Mangoes.
Very, very healthy. Hollywood calls and goes, Sven, we love your story, your journey. We want to do a biopic on you. Who would you cast to play your best friend?
Oh. It's hard. Has he to be still around or doesn't matter?
Dead or alive, doesn't matter.
I would say Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro. You get the opportunity to take, let's say, Robert De Niro on a one-day experiential adventure. What does that sound like or look like?
No matter where in the world?
No matter where. No limits.
No limits. Okay. Yeah, I would do some investigation about what he likes and not, and then create something really, really outstanding. On one hand, it will be challenging for him. And on the other hand, once he has overcome the challenge, together with a team, with me, in this case, we will celebrate afterwards and have a great party, whatever he likes, on a boat or on a sunset, on a resort, wherever.
Mm-hmm. Nice, sounds awesome. Let's say he's hungry and you go, hey, don't worry about it. I'm gonna go to the back. I'll make you something great to eat. What's that special dish that you could prepare?
the Swabian Kässpätzle. That's kind of Swabian kind of pasta with cheese and onions on top, melting.
Sounds awesome. And my last
question. And I do it manually, no machinery. It's a wooden piece of yeah, whatever.
No, nothing like the human touch, right?
Yeah.
And my last question before I get there, give me a number from 1 to 5.
4.
1, 2, 3, 4. So if you had to relate success to stamps, how is success like stamps?
A spaceship.
Pardon?
A spaceship.
Cool. So that's how success is like stamps. All right. So if anybody wants to get in touch with you, to do the drive training or the experiences and all that great stuff, what's the best way?
Yeah, check out megadrivingexperiences.com.
And do you have any last words that you would like to share?
I'd like to say thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed the conversation. And this is one thing, in each conversation, you can get something out of this. And I got today, you sensitized me that I have to focus more on numbers and feedback from our clients in order to develop better products to match their needs.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Well, I'm happy to add more value. So for everybody else, he is Sven. My name is Fong. Make sure you connect with Sven. Look at his stuff. Lots of great things. I mean, come on. Imagine yourself in that background right there, driving through that terrain. Must be an amazing, amazing experience. And I'm sure lots of people enjoy it. So once again, Sven, Fong, until next time. Today is the day to log your peak potential. We'll see you later.
Thank you.